Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new show on this channel, Bartonahay's World. Read it, enjoy it. My name is Matt, aka Bartonahay, and I wanted to make some type of reoccurring show for this channel. One, I like podcasting. Two, I've been on a podcast. I've had multiple podcasts. This summer, I don't have really a consistent podcast to be on. I'm not sure if this is going to be a podcast, but it's going to be some type of reoccurring show with myself and hopefully some people. Guests. The Lamb, that's a podcast I was on. Fight Geeks podcast. We do some Just Geeks podcasting too. I like podcasting and I wanted to make some type of show for you all with me on it. But it is summer. I'm super excited to really hone in on this YouTube channel, make tons of videos. The most important part is tons of different videos. Episode 1 is just going to be me. I want to give everybody an update on the channel as well. Bartonahay is back. If anyone didn't check out that video yet, be sure to check that out. There's been a lot of love on the espresso video. So just more cool, unique experiences that I experienced and feel like make good YouTube videos. That's basically what I'm going to be getting into this summer. And I want to welcome everybody to the show. What you can expect here is current news, sports, hence the name, Bartonahay's World. Anything that's kind of in my world or in my stratosphere that I'm thinking about, talking with others about, or am interested in and want to hear some feedback from you all. That's what's going to be talked about on this show. There is going to be some politics stuff on here. There is going to be some current news things. There's going to be a lot of different things actually on here. But one thing that there isn't going to be is any judgment, and I'm not really going to, I'm not going to be coming at any specific groups, people from any type of different backgrounds. This is strictly going to be commentary. I'm not going to be trying to win an argument. I'm really just commentating, informing really what this show is about. I know this intro has been a little long, but it's the first episode. And if you really, care about the show, you're hopefully still watching. Really what this show is just getting reps behind a camera and a microphone for me, because I want to be doing this as my job one day. So thank you everyone for stopping by, and let's get into some current news topics. One of the biggest stories, it's almost old news by now, but Donald Trump and Xi Jinping had their little summit together in China. I think it was in Beijing. What else are we going to expect? There was a lot of talk of what Donald Trump said, in America leading up to this summit, and what he said at the summit. And I want to think about it this way. Obviously, he's not going to say the same bad things. Kind of take that as you will if you think they were bad. Obviously, he's not going to say that in the home country. He can throw a jab at them from the safety of the White House, even though it really doesn't matter. I mean, isn't it normal that leaders go back and forth at each other all the time? And it was really interesting to kind of browse through what happened at this summit. Allegedly, China wants to buy some Boeing airplanes, which I guess is cool. And there's been some farming and agriculture collaboration talks. But I think the biggest thing to come out of it was the discussions about the NVIDIA AI and chips and really the future of that. But China can obviously use NVIDIA, or they can just do their own thing and make their own chips and not have to, which I think they are doing a little bit. This is something I have to look more into. Super interesting stuff happening. The New York Times posted a small article about Donald Trump saying basically his approval rating is just terrible. 2/3 of voters don't agree that we should have went to war. I mean, how can you not be upset with what's happening? I mean, look at the prices at the pump. The stock market was up a little bit, but it's honestly kind of been going back down a little bit, but the gas is still expensive. That's the main thing, is just gas. We all know how it is. And obviously the approval rating is going to be down when everybody is struggling. What is the remedy to that? I don't know. That's why this show is just in the first episode. I'm not going to go too deep on some stuff. I mostly read my news on New York Times, and that is where I want whoever's watching to come in. Comment some secondary news sources I can check out, or just somewhere to, broaden my range of where I get my news from. I just have a free New York Times subscription through school. So that's where I get my news from. Log in, do the Wordle, check the news out. Let's get out of the news about the president. I know it's like the last thing people probably want to hear of, especially on this YouTube channel. So I apologize if you're looking for a hiking video and you stumble across this. You don't have to watch these. You can just watch the hiking videos, because they're going to be a reoccurring thing too. Viruses. That is the second thing I want to talk about today. The Hantavirus and Ebola. Should we be worried about these things? Ebola has kind of reemerged in the Congo. There's a couple hundred cases, I believe, and a U.S. doctor has tested positive. But the hantavirus, on the other hand, the hantavirus files kind of released, and we saw that, the cruise ship essentially sounded like a nightmare. One person passed away, rest in peace. His wife, people consoled his wife. She the whole time was unknowingly sick. A doctor tested positive. I know that a lot of the quarantines for the hantavirus, at least the Americans, it's more of a precautionary measure, because I believe that the incubation period is about 1 to 6 weeks for this thing. That's a long time. I mean, I want to say I'm not as worried about Hantavirus, but for some reason I'm worried about Ebola. Maybe it's just because it's flipping Ebola. We've been here before. We know Ebola. All it takes is one person to fly it over here, man. So we're going to keep Ebola and Hantavirus on the radar for the Bartonahay's World Show. I'm going to try to keep, improving my research, improving my ability to, I have notes here, but I want to be able to really tell that to you all in the best way possible. So let me know how I can do in the future. That was kind of my first ever news segment on Bartonahay's World. The Buffalo Sabres. If anyone here is watching, I am going to be mostly talking about Buffalo sports and the overall sports. I am a Sabres fan, and last night against the Montreal Canadiens, we lost in overtime. Game 7, my prediction was Sabres winning in Game 7, so I wasn't too nervous, going into Game 7, because that was my prediction. We couldn't pull things through. So there's a lot of talk about we didn't expect this season. We didn't expect to go this far. We should be proud of ourselves. And I get that point of things, but I also really want to make the point that we were one goal away from facing Carolina. One goal. That's all we need. It was 0-0 basically. Whoever can score a goal first. Yes, you just played 7 straight every other day games, but still, we both had equal opportunity on the table. The Sabres and the Canadiens. You just gotta score a goal. I don't think we should be, so proud that we made it this far when all we had to do was score a goal to keep going. Yes, we could have won a game earlier in the series, but we didn't. And everything was right there. We just needed a goal. We couldn't get it. So that's unfortunate. With losses in the playoffs like that, it's really hard to evaluate your team and say, what do we need? I think we've seen that with the Bills recently. After losing in the playoffs by what seems like a 1 in a million chance thing that can happen, where do we even go from here? Yes, we're going to draft some new people. Yes, we're going to cut some people and pick up some people. But still, right now, I guess it's just good job. And I'm going to say good job because you pulled every single Sabres fan out of the woodworks. It really brought the city together. So it was a one of a kind thing. I really hope this wasn't a one and done thing, and the Sabres keep getting in the playoffs. The NBA playoffs have really came down to the wire here. We're in the finals for each conference. Western Conference Finals, Spurs versus Thunder. I think the most exciting series, obviously the finals will be hype, but the Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. This one's exciting. Shout out to my homie who's a Cleveland fan. My biggest worry for the Knicks, and I was telling my coworker about this earlier, is that they've had a while since the 76ers series ended, and the Cavs basically just ended last night. The Cavs ended Sunday night, and it's Tuesday night, and they're right back at it. If I give my finals prediction, I think it's going to be Spurs versus Knicks, and I think that would be a fun series. I'm really going to be rooting for the Knicks here, though, because the city needs it, man. Bills schedule released. So we're heading to Houston for the first game. Disclaimer, this is a Bills fan show. Home openers against the Lions. We got the Chargers, Patriots, the Rams, and the Raiders. So I'm really excited that we're going to be facing Fernando Mendoza, or I would assume he'd get the start. Although by week 6, Kirk Cousins may be in. I would love to see Mendoza see what he does against the Bills. Always a good time when we face the Rams, the Pats at home, the Chargers at home. Ooh, 3 home games in a row. That's nice. And it's in the new stadium, by the way. Ravens, Vikings, Jets, Dolphins, and Chiefs. Ravens is at home. Give us that one. The Vikings away. Give us that one. Give us against the Jets. Give us against Miami at home in November. I hope it's kind of chilly. And then week 12, November 26th, I think this is the Thanksgiving game. We're facing the Chiefs at home. The Chiefs are going to be back in Buffalo, but this time at the new stadium, which is exciting. And I think that this year is going to be different. Maybe we'll lose to the Chiefs, but we'll beat them in the playoffs, unlike every other year. Besides last year, they didn't make it, but I think the Chiefs are still dangerous. And we got the Pats, the Packers, the Bears, the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Jets to end the year. These are all really winnable games. Every game is genuinely winnable for the Bills. I know it's delusional Bills fan talk. 15-2, 14-3, 13-4 at the least. Honestly, I'm really loving our schedule here. And obviously we'll get more into the Bills as the preseason rolls around. So drop a comment of your Bills record predictions for the 2026-2027 season. And drop a comment if, would you go to a game? I believe the tickets for the home opener at least are in the thousands. So would you try to get to a game this year? I don't think I'm going to. Maybe in the next couple seasons. Ryan Trahan, if anybody knows Ryan Trahan, he's a huge YouTuber. Definitely one of my favorite YouTubers to watch. This show is going to be definitely Buffalo centered a little bit. He went to Niagara Falls because he's doing a tourist attraction series. In 10 days, he's going to 10 different tourist attractions. Day 1 was Disney World. Day 2 was Washington, D.C. And day 3, right here, 20 minutes north of us, Niagara Falls State Park. It was funny because, obviously he enjoyed the falls. How can you not enjoy the falls? He did the Cave of the Winds. He got a bunch of gear. But he said it in the video. After you see the falls, there's nothing else to do in Niagara Falls. Everybody here knows That's the God honest truth. I mean, there's a casino, or you can just go to Canada. That's about it. It's always funny seeing famous people. I mean, he's famous in his own right. Go to somewhere near, like, that you've been to. Like, he was standing in the spot that I stood when I did the 24 hours no phone video. And it was just really cool to see that. But I mean, it also kind of hurts. It's like, yeah, that's really all we got, man. And we just got the falls. I'm going to keep this episode kind of short this week. I'm going to try to do this weekly. I'm just starting up a new full-time job, so I'm excited for that. You know, I literally came home from work and I'm just filming videos because I'm in a different grind set, and I appreciate everyone who's watching this far. Next episode, I'm definitely going to try to get some guests on here. I want to talk Drake album with my friend. Drop a comment, drop a like, you know, subscribe if you're feeling the show and all the new content coming this summer. I'm not going to be posting daily, but if it ends up being like that, then so be it. Thanks everyone, and I'll see everyone in episode 2 of Bartonahay's World. Peace.